Dr. Wu is still here. He is still a massive part of this franchise and has always kind of continued to weave his legacy. What was it like for you being a part of this one, kind of knowing that this could maybe be the end?
Well, I'm always open. Like, I'm always open to whether it's the end or whether it's not. I believe in my life that I really have to be open to, like, as an actor, you're always saying, I can't depend on anything. I can't hang my self-esteem or my hopes or my finances on anything. So here I am being that open person, like going, okay, well, sign me up. I like to work. Tell me what the part is, and I'm happy to do it. And then getting into it, I go, well, this is very satisfying. This is a nice way to take the 3 movies and create a snapshot of a person in 3 very distinctively different places in their life and in the story, and for that to be a part of the chapter closing at the end of it. You know, that's really satisfying to me. I came into it, I make no bones about it, I came into walking out of Jurassic Park thinking that the character was totally underserved and thinking, well, you know, nobody cared about him, nobody cared. And then Colin Trevorrow kind of gave him mouth to mouth and kind of brought him into this world in which his whole shtick really mattered and really affected other things. And I'm always really grateful to have been the actor who got to do that.
What do you make of his journey in this one? Because at this point, Dr. Wu is sort of, similar to Claire, having a thought about, what did we do, why did we do it, and what are the consequences of what we did?
Well, yes, he is exactly that, and and I think Claire and they don't talk that much in the movie, but I think they really would relate to each other in that way, and I think that is the thing that the fans are looking for, because we're spinning a tale that's very, very fantastical. And so people are always going to be, well, what would really happen? And when you really start picking at it, you really have to have a great storyteller like Colin Trevorrow to try to give you details that you'll believe, right? And so the characters are going, well, what really must be absolutely important is that for someone to regret what they've done or acknowledge what they've done or talk about it and have it as a reference, we can't, for many years, you'll see tweets all over the place, well, why would there be a second theme park? Why would there ever be a second theme park? Well, here we are talking about, well, how human beings make the same mistakes or whatever. And I think the characters like Claire and Dr. Wu, who are feeling very conflicted about it, help us to believe that it could happen.
And listen, I'm glad to see Dr. Wu finally starting to think about it, because I've been watching these movies, I'm like, sir.
Yes, it's time. It's time, right? Yes.
What was it like bringing also, the idea everyone else hadn't met the legacy cast, but they are now having a chance to have all 4 of you guys back together, and also some of the legacy dinosaurs as well. But what was it like having Jeff and Sam and Laura kind of back into the franchise and welcoming them back?
I would say that my response to them is really more personal than about their stardom or their presence as characters in the movie, because we made the movie deep in 2020, first movie to come back during the pandemic, brand new protocols. We forged this movie, and the producers, to their credit, really forged new territory on how to make a movie safely. Bryce Howard was really instrumental in driving home and taking care of the actors and protecting us. And these 3 actors were part of this family. And we all stayed in this big hotel, and it was remarkably odd and interesting and different. We spent election night in front of the television. I'll never forget it. And we had these experiences together. And they are, they're not like elder statesmen, but they're and a lot. Laura has become a big star since then. She was always a big star, but this, she's a whole other person now, and so there's that. There's like, oh, and look at them, there they are. They're all 3 of them so fully formed. They're just like, wow, they're iconic in that way. I mean, I like, people like to use that word a lot, iconic, but they're icons. They have this way of carrying themselves that's really unique to themselves. They're really, their personalities are really well formed. They're characters, and in some cases their families were with them, and so there was a real special feeling about it. That's how I feel about it. It's personal rather than about them as characters in the movie.
What was the last day on set for you like, when you were kind of like I said earlier, I guess maybe saying goodbye to Henry, to Dr. Wu, who I think is an icon in his own right.
Thank you. Well, that's nice of you to say. I think what was lucky, and it was towards the end when it was election night, and we were on this night, one of two nights I think where we were on the set all together. It just happened to be that we were all in this scene together, and it coming to an end, and everybody's like final scenes and final shots starting to come to an end. There's a great sense of accomplishment. You have to understand also, making a movie during the pandemic, there's always, are we shutting down? Do we need to shut down? What's happening? Who tested positive? Did anyone test positive? And so for the producers alone to get to the end of the movie, there is like this incredible sense of victory, because it's so expensive and so difficult, and figuring out how to get the movie rebooted because the sets had already been built and everything, and how to get back into it and keep the actors safe was a huge task. So I think through the producer's eyes, I sense this really big sense of accomplishment. For me personally, I don't know, I never feel like anything's really an end. And also, I've done so many of these movies now, I think, well, it's never really going to be an end. And I don't, who knows? But it's positive. And at the end of every big job, you go, well, I get to go home now. And there's that too. Being away from home is really hard sometimes. So it's a mixed feeling. It's lots of mixed feelings, but positive.
Very last thing, scariest dinosaur. In your expert opinion, what is the scariest dinosaur in the whole Jurassic Park saga?
I really, really don't like, and I don't know what it's called, the dinosaur with the red feathers.
The Pyroraptor.
I don't like it. It's a nightmare dinosaur. And I know that it was made to be a specifically more scary, like nightmare-y kind of dinosaur, and so I'm not comfortable with that dinosaur.